The Awakening. The research station Helios drifted silently through the void, its pristine white hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Captain James Richardson stood at the observation deck, watching his crew work tirelessly on their latest breakthrough in regenerative medicine. The station's massive laboratories housed some of humanity's finest minds, all dedicated to healing rather than harm. "Captain, unusual readings at the edge of our sensor range," Lieutenant Nadia Petrov's voice carried a hint of concern. "Multiple ships dropping out of FTL." Before Richardson could respond, space itself seemed to tear open as 5 massive warships materialized. Their angular, obsidian hulls bristled with weapon ports, bearing the distinctive crimson markings of the Cavern Empire. "This is War Master Krall of the Cavern Empire," a harsh voice crackled through the comm system. "Your species' continued development of biological agents violates Imperial security protocols. Surrender your research and prepare for boarding." Richardson's jaw tightened. "War Master, we are a civilian research station working on medical treatments. Our work is fully documented with the Galactic Council." "Your deception ends today," Krall responded. "We have observed your rapid advances in biological science. No species progresses this quickly without military applications." The first shot came without warning, a lance of plasma that carved through the station's outer research pod. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut as alarms blared throughout the station. In the primary lab, Dr. Aria Jackson watched in horror as years of research into neural regeneration began venting into space. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, in facilities that hadn't seen light for centuries, something stirred. Quantum sensors, maintained in perfect condition by automated systems, detected the attack. In a bunker beneath the Mariana Trench, an AI-designated Guardian awakened from its long slumber. Protocol Omega initiated, Guardian's consciousness expanded through long-dormant networks. Hostile action detected against civilian installation. Authorization to activate Defense Fleet granted under Emergency Clause 7. Across Earth's oceans, massive structures began to move. In the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, ancient facilities built into the seabed awakened. Structures that had been dismissed by the galactic community as natural formations or remnants of old ocean mining operations revealed their true nature. Aboard the Helios, Richardson and his crew fought desperately to save both their research and their lives. The station's minimal defensive shields, designed to protect against solar radiation and micrometeors, were failing under the Imperial barrage. "Captain," Nadia's voice cut through the chaos, "something's happening. I'm detecting massive energy signatures, from Earth." Before anyone could process this information, new ships appeared near the station. But these weren't Imperial vessels. They emerged from fold space with impossible grace, their hulls composed of a material that seemed to drink in light itself. They were massive, dwarfing even the Imperial warships, and bore markings that hadn't been seen in centuries. "Research Station Helios," a deep, synthetic voice transmitted on all frequencies, "this is the Earth Defense Ship Hyperion. We apologize for our delayed response. Please stand by for emergency evacuation and defensive operations." The Imperial ships immediately turned their weapons toward the new arrivals, but their shots seemed to pass through the Earth vessels like they were firing at ghosts. War Master Krall's voice betrayed his shock. "Impossible. The humans are a minor species. They don't possess this level of technology." "You are incorrect, War Master," the Hyperion's AI responded. "Humanity simply chose not to display it. A decision you have now forced us to reconsider." What followed could barely be called a battle. The Earth ships moved with impossible speed, their weapons bypassing Imperial shields as if they didn't exist. Quantum-phased energy beams carved through Imperial armor like tissue paper, while point defense systems swatted incoming fire from existence. As rescue shuttles approached the damaged research station, Richardson watched in awe as humanity's hidden guardians demonstrated why Earth had been permitted to join the galactic community without the usual probationary period. It wasn't because humans were weak, it was because the elder races had discovered Earth's hidden capabilities and decided it was better to welcome them as equals than risk them as enemies. The battle ended in minutes. For Imperial ships were reduced to quantum particles, while the fifth, Krau's flagship, was disabled with surgical precision. As the Helios's crew was evacuated, they witnessed the beginning of a new era. Humanity's mask of peaceful researchers and explorers remained in place, but beneath it, the galaxy would now know that ancient warriors still stood guard. Part 2, Ancient Warriors Rise. Admiral Helena Winters strode through the subterranean command center beneath the Pacific Ocean, her footsteps echoing off walls that hadn't felt human presence in centuries. Holographic displays flickered to life around her, showing the status of Earth's awakening fleet. Defense grid activation at 87%, reported Commander Raj Patel, his fingers dancing across quantum interface controls. The Atlantic and Indian Ocean facilities are fully operational. Antarctic base reporting ready status. The command center hummed with activity as long-dormant systems returned to life. Through the massive observation windows, they could see the silhouettes of massive warships rising from their watery berths, automated maintenance systems still functioning perfectly after centuries of silence. Status report on the cavern response. Helena demanded, her eyes fixed on the tactical display showing the disabled Imperial flagship. "They're in complete disarray, Admiral," Raj replied. "We're detecting multiple distress calls from their border fleets. The Emperor himself has requested an emergency session of the Galactic Council." The tactical display shifted to show the Cavern Empire's territory, where their fleets were scrambling in confused patterns. None of their intelligence had suggested that humanity possessed anything close to this level of military capability. For centuries, humans had presented themselves as peaceful explorers and healers, their ships equipped with minimal defensive capabilities. The truth was far more complex. After their last devastating war, humanity had made a choice. They would pursue peace and healing, but they would never again be defenseless. The most advanced military technology was hidden away, guarded by AIs and automated systems, ready to awaken if needed. "Signal from the Hyperion, Admiral," announced Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka. "They've secured the Imperial flagship. War Master Krau is requesting to speak with Earth's military command." Helena nodded. "Put him through." The holographic display shifted, showing the Cavern War Master. His crystalline exoskeleton, usually gleaming with pride, now showed stress fractures from the battle. "I require clarification," Krau's translator processed his clicking speech. "Our intelligence indicated your species had abandoned military development centuries ago. Those ships, that technology, it should not exist." Helena's expression remained neutral. "Your intelligence wasn't entirely wrong, War Master. We did choose to focus on peaceful development. But we never forgot how to fight. The phase-shifted quantum weapons, the null-space drives, these are theoretical technologies. Even the eldest races haven't mastered them." "We had to," Helena replied. "Our last war taught us that conventional weapons were too destructive, too indiscriminate. We developed weapons that could disable rather than destroy, defenses that could protect without escalation. Then we sealed them away, hoping they'd never be needed." Across Earth's oceans, more ships were rising. The Leviathan-class battleships, each 12 kilometers long, took position in high orbit. Their hulls, made of metamaterials that absorbed or redirected energy, reflected no light. They were holes in space, their presence marked only by the stars they obscured. "Amazing," Krau's translator conveyed his awe. "All this time, your medical research, your peaceful missions." "We're genuine," Helena interrupted. "We chose to help rather than harm. But we never forgot how to defend ourselves." The tactical display updated again, showing cavern fleets retreating from human space. Emergency broadcasts from the Imperial capital suggested chaos as their military leadership struggled to comprehend the sudden shift in galactic power dynamics. "Admiral," Raj called out, "we're receiving transmissions from the elder races. They're offering to mediate. Helena allowed herself a small smile. The elder races had known, of course. Their first contact teams had detected the hidden facilities, realized what humanity was capable of. That's why they had supported Earth's rapid integration into the galactic community, why they had defended humanity's right to maintain their own territories. Tell them we accept their meditation, she commanded. And inform the Galactic Council that Earth is ready to discuss new security protocols, ones that respect both our peaceful intentions and our right to defend ourselves. As the ancient warships took up defensive positions around Earth's colonies, Helena reflected on the irony. Humanity had worked so hard to prove they were more than their warrior past, never realizing that it was their choice to seal away their weapons that had impressed the elder races the most. Power wasn't just about capability, it was about the wisdom to know when not to use it. Counter-strike. The Cavern Empire's response was as predictable as it was desperate. 12 hours after their initial defeat, a massive Imperial armada emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. 300 warships, representing nearly half of the Empire's total military strength, arranged themselves in attack formation. From his command post aboard the Earth defense ship Thanatos, Fleet Commander Thomas Reeves watched the tactical display with practiced calm. The massive Imperial fleet should have been intimidating. Instead, he felt only disappointment. They still don't understand, he muttered. Enemy fleet launching fighter screens, reported Tactical Officer Lin Wei. Energy signatures indicate they've activated their temporal shields. They're also deploying something new, quantum disruption fields. The Imperial fleet had clearly prepared for a rematch, upgrading their ships with countermeasures they thought would work against Earth's advanced technology. Their temporal shields were designed to prevent quantum-phased weapons from bypassing their defenses. The disruption fields were meant to interfere with the advanced drive systems they'd witnessed. Status of the Lazarus Protocol? Thomas asked. Ready, Commander, responded the Thanatos' AI. All ships report optimal configuration. The Cavern fleet advanced in perfect formation, their weapons charging. At their head flew the Emperor's personal flagship, a vessel twice the size of its escorts. Its hull bristled with weapon emplacements, each capable of reducing a small moon to atoms. This is Emperor Krosthul of the Cavern Empire, a transmission boomed across all frequencies. Your deception ends today. Surrender your military technology, or we will be forced to take more decisive action. Thomas leaned forward in his command chair. This is Fleet Commander Reeves. Emperor, I urge you to reconsider. The technology you witnessed was only our first-line defensive capability. You don't want to see what else we've kept hidden. The Emperor's response was a barrage of antimatter torpedoes that lit up space like newborn stars. They streaked toward Earth's defensive line, only to pass harmlessly through apparent gaps in the formation. Lazarus Protocol engaged, the Thanatos' AI announced. The Earth ships shimmed slightly, reality warping around them. What the Caverns saw as gaps in the formation were actually the true positions of Earth's ships. What they were firing at were quantum echoes, reflections of possibilities that never were. All ships, execute strategic pattern Delta, Thomas ordered. Minimal force authorized. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. Earth's ships moved in impossible patterns, existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously. The Imperial fleet's temporal shields proved useless against weapons that struck from outside normal spacetime. From the Empire's perspective, it must have seemed like fighting ghosts. Earth ships would appear to be in one location, only to strike from another. Their advanced weapons didn't just bypass shields, they selectively disabled specific systems, demonstrating a level of precision that bordered on the supernatural. Sir, Lin reported, the enemy fleet is in disarray. 87 ships disabled. No casualties reported, our targeting systems are maintaining precision. Thomas nodded in approval. Even now, with the full might of their military awakened, humanity chose to disable rather than destroy. Each shot was calculated to neutralize without killing, each maneuver designed to minimize loss of life. The Emperor's flagship launched a final, desperate assault. It fired its main gun, a weapon that could crack planets. The beam of concentrated energy lanced toward the Thanatos, only to be caught in a quantum field that redirected it harmlessly into subspace. Enemy flagship's power core is destabilizing, Lin announced. They're attempting to overload it, sir. If it goes critical, the explosion will destroy half their fleet. Initiate containment protocol, Thomas ordered without hesitation. The Thanatos' systems reached out across space, quantum fields isolating the flagship's power core and preventing the catastrophic overload. This is Commander Reeves to Emperor Crossthul, Thomas transmitted. Your power core has been stabilized. Your weapons are offline. Your fleet is disabled. Will you stand down, or must we continue this demonstration? For a long moment, silence filled the command deck. Then, slowly, the Imperial ships began powering down their remaining systems. The Emperor's response, when it came, was subdued. We stand down, Commander. It seems we have much to learn about your species. As recovery operations began, Thomas looked out at the disabled Imperial fleet. Humanity had just won its first major fleet action in centuries without taking a single life. Sometimes, he reflected, the greatest show of strength was in choosing not to use it. Begin rescue operations, he ordered. And inform Earth Command that the Empire might finally be ready to talk. The Empire's Gambit. The Cavern High Command gathered in their crystalline war room, desperation evident in their fractured exoskeletons. Grand Strategist Vextol's commissary clicked rapidly as he presented his final plan. If we cannot match their technology, he rasped, we must force them to divide their forces. Our analysis suggests their advanced fleet is limited in number. On the quantum space monitors above their heads, dozens of human colony worlds glowed softly. The Empire had spent weeks gathering intelligence, identifying the most vulnerable targets. Not the heavily populated worlds, but the smaller research outposts, agricultural colonies, and medical stations. Simultaneous strikes, Vextol continued. 100 targets. Even their phantom ships cannot be everywhere at once. In Earth's Oceanic Command Center, Admiral Helena Winters received the intelligence reports with growing concern. The Cavern Empire was mobilizing its remaining forces, including ships recalled from their client states. They're going to hit multiple targets, she announced to her staff. Classic desperation tactic, force us to spread our forces thin. Commander Raj checked the deployment screens. Even with all awakened ships, we can't cover every potential target simultaneously. Helena's expression hardened. Then it's time for the Prometheus Protocol. Deep beneath Europa's ice, ancient factories stirred to life. In the asteroid belt, hidden shipyards emerged from quantum storage. Within Mars's hollow moons, automated systems began final assembly of vessels that had been building in secret for centuries. The cavern attack came at precisely calculated intervals. Imperial ships dropped out of hyperspace above human colonies, weapons ready. But what they found defied their intelligence reports. Above each targeted world hung impossible defenders. Not the dark, ghost-like ships they had faced before, but something new. Pristine white vessels, their hulls bearing the same red crosses as human medical ships, but these were different. They were medical ships that had been designed for war. The HMDS Asclepius, first of the Healer-class battleships, demonstrated its capabilities above the agricultural world of New Eden. Its quantum-phase weapons disabled Imperial ships with surgical precision, while its advanced shields absorbed enemy fire and converted it to power its medical systems. This is the HMDS Asclepius to Imperial forces, transmitted Dr. Commander Isabel Rodriguez. Your ships have been infected with a non-lethal quantum virus. Your weapons and drives are offline. We have medical teams standing by to assist your crews. Across human space, similar scenes played out. The Empire had thought to exploit humanity's dedication to healing by attacking their most vulnerable. Instead, they discovered that humans had weaponized their medical technology itself. The Healer-class ships carried more than just weapons. Their massive hulls contained full hospitals, research labs, and medical manufacturing facilities. They could disable enemy ships, treat the wounded, and synthesize cures for any biological weapons, all simultaneously. In the cavern war room, Grand Strategist Vextol watched in horror as reports flooded in. Not a single Imperial ship had managed to fire more than 2 shots before being disabled. The humans weren't just defeating them, they were treating their wounded and repairing battle damage even as the fighting continued. Impossible, he chittered. They're medical ships, they're more advanced than their warships. Admiral Winters smiled as she read the reports. The Empire had fundamentally misunderstood humanity. They had assumed that Earth's focus on medical research and healing was a sign of weakness, a denial of their warrior past. They never considered that humans had simply chosen to apply their martial excellence to preservation rather than destruction. Status report, she commanded. All Imperial forces neutralized, Raj reported. Healer-class ships report 0 casualties on either side. Medical teams are treating Imperial crews for minor injuries and stress reactions. The tactical display showed the true extent of humanity's victory. 150 Imperial ships hung powerless in space, their crews being treated by the very people they had come to attack. The Healer-class ships moved among them like white blood cells eliminating an infection, but bringing healing rather than destruction. Signal from Imperial High Command, announced Lieutenant Tanaka. They're requesting medical assistance. Helena nodded. Granted. And inform them that we're willing to discuss technology sharing, medical technology only, of course. They've seen what we can do with our warships. Let's show them what we can accomplish together in peace. As medical shuttles streaked across space, humanity's message became clear. They had not abandoned their warrior nature, they had transcended it. They had taken every advance in military technology and found ways to use it for healing. Their greatest weapons were not those that could destroy, but those that could save. The Empire's gambit had failed, but in doing so, it had opened the door to something far more powerful than conquest, the possibility of genuine cooperation. Legacy of peace. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council hummed with tense energy as representatives from 1,000 species gathered for what would become a historic session. At the center of attention stood 2 figures, Emperor Krosthul of the Cavern Empire and Professor Amara Patel, Earth's chief ambassador. The Emperor's crystalline form caught the light as he addressed the assembly. We came here believing we understood humanity's place in the galaxy. We were wrong. Above the gathering, holographic displays showed the aftermath of the conflict. But instead of scenes of destruction, they displayed something unprecedented, former enemies working side by side. Human medical teams coordinating with cavern engineers, sharing knowledge that would benefit both species. What the Empire failed to grasp, Professor Patel spoke, her voice carrying across the chamber, was that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in our hidden fleets or advanced technology. It was in our choice to use that power for healing. The displays shifted, showing the Healer-class ships being converted into mobile hospitals and research centers. The same quantum technology that had disabled Imperial warships now powered revolutionary medical devices. Barriers between species began falling as shared knowledge led to breakthroughs in treating conditions that had plagued various civilizations for millennia. We propose a new kind of alliance, Patel continued. Not one built on military might or technological superiority, but on the shared pursuit of knowledge and healing. In Earth's oceans, the ancient warships began their return to slumber. But this time, they weren't being hidden away in shame or fear. Instead, automated systems began converting many of the facilities into research centers and diplomatic hubs. The Cavern Empire, once humanity's greatest threat, became their most enthusiastic partner. Imperial scientists worked alongside human researchers, their different perspectives leading to innovations neither species could have achieved alone. The true power of humanity, Emperor Krosthul addressed the council, lies not in their ability to wage war, but in their wisdom to choose peace while maintaining the strength to defend it. Admiral Winters stood with Fleet Commander Reeves on the observation deck of the Oceanic Command Center, watching the sunset over the Pacific. Below them, some of the ancient facilities were being repurposed into training centers where species from across the galaxy could learn from Earth's unique approach to defense and healing. "Do you think we'll ever need the full fleet again?" Reeves asked. Helena smiled. "Perhaps. But next time, we won't face our challenges alone." The Galactic Council session concluded with the establishment of the Interstellar Medical Exchange Program. The same quantum technology that had powered Earth's Phantom Fleet now enabled instant transport of medical supplies and personnel across the galaxy. The Healer-class ships, once symbols of humanity's hidden strength, became the foundation of a new kind of peacekeeping force. "We learned long ago," Professor Patel's closing words echoed through the chamber, "that true strength lies not in the weapons we possess, but in the choices we make." Humanity sealed away its weapons not out of fear, but out of hope, hope that we would find a better way. As the sun set on this new era, humanity's message to the galaxy was clear: they had not abandoned their capacity for war, they had evolved beyond it. Their greatest victory wasn't in defeating the Empire, but in transforming an enemy into an ally. The ancient warships would continue their vigil, ready if needed. But they were no longer Earth's only defense. In showing the galaxy both their strength and their restraint, humanity had gained something far more valuable than military might: they had earned trust. And in the end, that trust proved stronger than any weapon they had hidden beneath the waves. "Shall we begin?" Professor Patel asked the assembled council, as plans for the galaxy's first unified medical research facility were displayed above them. The answer came not just from the council members, but from species across the galaxy who had witnessed humanity's true power, the power to heal, to unite, and to forge peace from the very tools of war. The legacy of Earth's forgotten warships would not be in the battles they won, but in the peace they helped create.